All right, so let's look at synovial joints. So synovial joints are all diarthroses. So they're all freely movable. Freely. A synovial joint is a joint that where two bones come together and they form a capsule. Okay, a joint capsule. So if we have two bones come together, okay, they don't touch. So the bones don't touch. Okay. And they're surrounded by a cavity. Okay, these synovial joints have joint cavities. Contain a joint cavity. All right. So around it, we have this area that creates the cavity. And this inner layer of the wall of this cavity is called the synovial membrane. Synovial. And the synovial membrane secretes fluid called synovial fluid throughout this capsule. Okay. The bone ends, you should already know, are covered with articular cartilage, so hyaline cartilage. Okay, but there's no periosteum here, so I want to kind of cover that. All right, so the periosteum starts here, and the periosteum is part of, or becomes maybe, the outer layer of the synovial membrane. Okay, so this is a fibrous layer. Okay, this fibrous layer that's on the outside is dense irregular connective tissue. Okay, and of course it's protective. These two things create the joint capsule. Okay, there also can be things around it that protect it. So there can be ligaments. Remember, ligaments are what? Dense, regular connective tissue, and they'll surround it and help to stabilize that joint. There also can be muscles. So muscles and tendons. So muscles and their tendons that cross the joints. So that is the basic structure of a synovial joint. Okay, and it's good because, I mean, you see the bones don't touch here, but if this were the knee joint and you were jumping up and down, those bones might, collide and touch. Well, that's okay. The cartilage there not only doesn't have vessels, it doesn't have nerves, so it doesn't hurt. It protects it from that. And there's also this fluid in here. So inside there is synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is produced by the synovial membrane. It's made up of blood. And it's a very slick, smooth, sort of slimy, slick fluid there, kind of like snot, okay? And it really reduces the friction in there. Okay, so that's basically a synovial joint. What that is, there are 6 types. So 6 types of synovial joints. Right, there's the plane joint or planar. The pivot joint, the hinge joint, hinge, the saddle joint, the condylar, the condyloid joint, and the ball and socket. So you need to know all of the synovial joints, where you can locate them. So the plane joint you're going to see like in the carpals. They just glide on one another. The pivot joint you can see at atlas to axis, and the annular ligament around the radius. So the radius to ulna. The hinge, of course, is the elbow. And we have other hinge joints too, like the TMJ, temporomandibular joint, and the knee. Those are just modified hinge joints. The saddle joint is the thumb. Condylar joints are the fingers. Fingers to the hand or to the metacarpals. And then the ball and socket joint is the shoulder and the hip. So go through there and make sure you know what those are and how they move.